Andy Goo from the Goo Life YouTube channel, and today we continue working on the pool porch. After that, I teach my first ever class on beekeeping. Alright guys, we're back out here working on the porch. See what we can get done.
Y'all get your asses to work.
You see my big ass falling in this hole. One wrong step. One wrong step for man, one dead paw. You're under like 3 or 4 of them. I don't think he's gonna get it.
Oh no!
I'm glad we got that on camera.
That was not our board either.
Let me see if there's one in the building.
That's Tyler.
You were under like 4 or 5 of them. How were you?
That's Tyler's board.
We'll get him a new board.
He'll be alright.
What do we need?
A glass of water.
Okay, I'll get you one.
Wine. What's the water do?
Keeps him from dehydrating.
How many waters?
No.
I'll take one. It says made in Germany and has a little swastika. It was made in 22 years. But Outbaster has a lot of parks real close. And they're all kid friendly. They all got brand new stuff. Ain't like Locust Fort where there's 500 pedophiles roaming around.
Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah, dude.
Don't throw it at me.
That didn't sound good.
I don't think you're supposed to hit that. I can't get it. Watch out, Sadie.
Be awful if he put a hole.
Great, Andy, you'll have him throw it.
He's probably gonna jump. Oh, there he goes. You gotta put the frog in there, Goose.
Huh?
Andy. I just had a frog in my hand, Taylor got it on camera.
Don't do too much, you hold.
I just realized half this pool's on the ground, ain't it? After 20 years, I finally... You looking for the ball?
Probably cheap.
Appreciate it.
You can cut that all the time. I suggest buying 2 sets. So you want 2 3-pound boxes of bees and 2 queens. Because if you've got a hive that is not doing good and you just got a hive by itself, you don't know if it's doing good or not. If you have 2 hives to compare to and you see one's doing better than the other one, then you know that you might have a problem. So let's just say you buy your bees, you're waiting on them to come. So while you're doing that, you got to figure out what kind of equipment you want to get. So this is basically the bee box here. It's got This is what's called the bottom board. And it's got this mesh right here. In the summer, this keeps cool air coming in to keep the hive cool. In the winter, you can actually run, right here, this little slit. You can put a piece of cardboard or something in there to keep the heat in from the cold air. So that's what goes on your bottom. So this is what they call a brood box. It's deeper than that box. You don't want to, this is for brood only, you don't want honey in these, because if you do, you've got like 100 pounds of honey in one box and you can't maneuver it. But the queen will lay eggs in frames like this. They'll lay eggs, there'll be eggs up in here, and I'll have to get a picture of it. If you see eggs up in here, that'll be female eggs. They'll lay male eggs down here, and they'll look like popcorn. They'll be sticking out further, and that's how you tell the difference. But before you get your bees, you want to get these frames and take them and take some beeswax and melt it and take a paint roller or something and rub it on here, because it'll help them to draw out comb more. And you can also spray sugar water on it, and it helps them stay.
Why do they lay so many females?
Because the females do all the work. All the males do, their only job, they're born, they go up in the sky, they mate, and they die. That's all they do. And so they don't, the male to female ratio is like 10 to 1. And the queen can actually decide when, she can take an egg and decide if she wants it to be a male or a female. A male egg is an unfertilized egg, a female's fertilized. So if she wants males, she'll lay a bunch of unfertilized. If she wants females, she'll fertilize them. This is what's called a queen excluder. This goes between this box and that box. So when you put it on, the bees can come up and down. The queen can't. So it keeps the queen in here with the eggs, keeps your honey up here, and it keeps eggs out of your honey. This is what you want to put your honey on. So see how this is smaller than this one? A lot of females, when they do beehives, they will only use these for everything, because these can get really heavy. So they'll use these for both. But you definitely only want to use these for honey, because this will hold 20 to 40 pounds of honey, and it's easier to maneuver than 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference in the frames. See how much smaller they are? Same thing, you want to wax those. Then this is what's called your inner cover. Some of them have this mesh, this. Some of them just have a hole here. And it goes here, and it provides ventilation, and it keeps the top from getting glued down to this. So bees make something called propolis, it's bee glue, and they will glue stuff together. This keeps them from gluing this to this. And so you can pry this up easier than if you're trying to pry up this. That's your inner cover. And then this is your top. And then you want to put some kind of brick up here, something, or you can strap them down to keep it from falling over or whatever. Some of the other tools you would want to get, this is what's called a hive, frame grabber. So you can pick these up like this, or you can do that. Whichever one you.
Aren't those like glued in there hard too?
Whichever one you want to do, yep. This here is called a queen cage. So what this is, if you have a beehive and there's a queen in there and you find it and you want to mark it, so when you get bees from a store, they will come marked with a dot on them. Wild bees will not. So when you find a queen in here that you want to keep, you put it in this cage. It can't fly out because these are smaller than it. And you put it in this thing here. Now what this does is it's got padding. So when the queen's in here, you can ease it up gently, take your marker, and you can mark the back of the queen bee and put it back in the hive. So next time you're in your hive, you can spot her easily. There's a color for every year for queen bees. Every year it's different. This year's technically blue, but this is last year's green. The reason that you mark them every year is a queen bee only lasts 5 years. Well, if you're getting down to, say it's yellows 4 years ago, you know that queen bee's old, you may want to kill her and replace her. It kind of keeps you basically letting you know how old the queen is. And this is what you call, this is a hive tool. It's got this hook on the end. This hook is for when you're working in the beehive, you can use it to pop your frames up. It's got this scraper here. You can scrape off, if you ever have a lot of gunk on these, like propolis or bee, just junk, you can clean this with that. This is an entrance feeder. So what this does is, if you catch a brand new thing of bees, or it's in the summertime and you want to feed your bees because there's not a lot of food out there, you fill this with 1:1 sugar water and you mix it up. You want to rub Vaseline around the inside of your lid, because if you don't, from just the random just sugar water and everything, eventually this will get so hard it won't be able to turn. And you'll be cranking and prying, but if you rub Vaseline on it, it keeps it loose. So what you do is fill it up with 1:1 sugar water. If it's springtime and you've just caught some bees from the wild or whatever, you can set this here and the bees will come up and down and they'll get it. However, in the summertime, you don't want to do that, because in the summertime, bees don't have a lot of flowers to eat off of. So they'll do what's called robbing another beehive, where they'll send bees out and they look for weaker beehives. And if a robber bee comes by this hive and he is able to get in this entrance without one of the bees that live in here get him, and he can get up in there and he can get a piece of the honey and come back out and they don't kill him, they consider that a weak hive, and he goes back to his hive. So when he goes back, he tells all of his buddies, hey, we got these bees over here, they're not doing good, let's take all their stuff. Half the hive will come over here and they will literally go in here, kill all these bees, take all their honey and take it back to their
Rough shot on the hives.
They'll kill them. It's called robbing.
Capture the flag.
It's called robbing a beehive. But this in the summer, this
Called capping the ops, actually.
this on the outside in the summer, it can attract that, because the bee can just get in there, oh, sugar water, bring them back, kill them. So it can actually attract that in the summer. So if you're going to use this,
These were hood rat.
if you're going to use this in the summer, you can still use this. But I would use a top cover, put it here where the bees can still get through it, put another bee box on top and cover it, and that way the bees are going up and down in the hive and it's not attracting bees from the outside.
How big that is.
So you can use this one for sugar water in the summer, or you can use this one. I need to clean this one, but basically what this one does is it's got this hole right here, and it's got it's real rough right here, and the bees can climb up and down. So they'll climb in there, and you put this over this, and you fill it with sugar water, and they can come up, come in here and drink, and they won't drown, because they're isolated from the water, but they can go up and down inside here. Bees drown all the time. They're dumb. They literally, you can drown them in a heartbeat. So this is a good way to prevent
it.
So this right here, what this does is,
Or if Kid Junior thumbs down that.
when you get ready to process your honey, so when you get ready to process your honey,
Gives a thumbs down, does 50 more pull-ups.
Yeah.
you pull this frame out, you're getting ready to process, you'll see there's like a film, it's like a wax film over it. If this frame is 95% covered in this wax, like there's not very many gaps, they say you can process the honey. The moisture content of honey has to be 16% for you to eat it so it don't ferment. Bees know when it hits 16% automatically. So when it hits 16%, they cap it. Well, if 90% of this frame's capped, you're probably good to go. If it's not, you can either take your honey frame, leave it back in here, or you can use this which is a tool that you put the honey on, and it tells you the moisture content. So if you're on the fence about is that honey going to ferment, you can check it with this. It'll tell you the moisture content, but it has to be 16%. So let's just say you got honey on here. You're going to process it. This you can run across the top, and it breaks that capping off of the honey that they have. The honey's going to ooze out, but you're going to process it anyway. But you can break the cappings with this, or you can use this. This is a decapping knife. So you would take it, you would run it below the capping for the honey, and you would just slide it down, and then the wax capping is going to come off. Keep the cappings in a bucket or whatever, because you can use those for other stuff. They make some of these knives that are heated, and you can plug them up and have heat on them, and it just makes it easier to cap. So you've done that, you've released all your frames, you got your wax cappings in a bucket somewhere to reuse for whatever else. Take all your frames, you'll put them in it's called a honey spinner. Brian saw mine. You'll drop them in this thing, and it's like a big circle, and it's got these little racks you can put the frames in. You'll drop them in, you can hand crank it and it'll spin them, or you can do an electric one. I've got an electric one. You cut it on, and this frame just goes in a big circle, and the force slings the honey onto the sides of it. It's going to sling the honey on the inside of the machine. The honey's going to come down. At the bottom of it, it's going to have a little lever that you can open and close. What you'll do is you'll open it up to get your honey out, but there's going to be junk in the honey too. There's going to be dead bees, just random junk. So you'll take it, you'll put this, so let's just say we're going to put honey in this bucket. This is our honey thing. You'll open up your spinner, the honey will come out. This is a double screen. This would go over whatever you're going to put your honey in, and the honey will go in there through the double screen, and it gets all the junk out. The dead bees, limbs, just whatever debris in there, it gets it out. And that's how you would process your honey. And from the bucket, you can run it through twice, or you can just go straight to jar it, however you want to do it. But that's how you process the honey. It's pretty easy. Male bees, they're born, they go up in the sky, mate, they die in the sky after they mate. That's the end of it. Literally, that's it.
Look at Chris. That's how I was at the meeting.
The male bee.
So they get theirs.
The
and
male
plummet
bee
to their
is
death?
the male bee is the definition of a man whore. This is all he does. He's born. It's bigger than a female.
So good.
Up in the air somewhere, there's these places called mating zones. All that's up there is male bees.
Bee brothels.
Yeah, they fly around. When queen bees are born, they are not fertilized they can't lay eggs. Well, they gotta get mated. They will go up to the mating zone where all the other males are. They fly
You're
around
gonna
up there.
kill
They'll hold around, okay.
They fly around up there for 15
Spread the
days.
wings.
15 days.
Spread
Males are doing this, females are doing this. They eventually hook up, have sex.
It's a bee
whatever you
orgy.
call it. Bee orgy, all right?
Mate.
So when they're going so quick, the male comes by, here's the female, boom, he's in, they're quick, they're separated, the force rips his stuff apart and he dies up there.
Oh my God.
That's what happens.
He literally explodes.
He
Sorry.
explodes. He explodes in the air.
The
How about
visual
a
is
quickie?
killer.
The queen bee goes up there for about 15 days.
So good he'd die for it.
Yeah.
There's a mating zone every so many miles throughout the world. They don't know how the bees know to go there, but they do.
Instinct.
Queen bee goes up there. She mates with 25 to 30 female
Bee
bees.
thing.
25 to 30 male bees up there. She just mates with all of them.
Oh.
She comes
Slut.
back. She has enough sperm in her to lay 1,000 eggs a day for the rest of her life. So when it gets cold in the winter, because
Then I'm sure
males,
he wants
so
abortion.
all
I'm
right,
about to say.
males, males,
Face on this.
males, they go up, have sex, and die. Male dream. That's what they do. All right. So,
It's a dream, that's all right.
so they can't feed themselves or nothing. Literally, that's all they
So
do.
they're fasting, okay?
The females feed them in the hive. Wintertime comes. The bees realize they've got all these bees. There's all these bees in a hive.
Useless males.
Wintertime's coming, okay? They know they got to stay in this box all winter. With the amount of resources they have, that's all they have. They realize, hey, all these males do is run around and mate, can't even feed themselves. They say, you know what, we're going to save resources for everybody that's useful. We're not going to feed you.
How's they get rid of the freeloaders?
They don't feed them. Males starve. Somehow the male decides he's able to stay in there longer. Well, okay, they start kicking them out.
I like this concept.
They've done starved them. They've done kicked them out. That male bee decides he's going to keep coming. They decide that's it. They rip that male's wings off, toss him out where he can't physically get back in, and dies.
Physical punishment, I like it.
In the winter, only females are in this box because that's less resources they have to use to get them through the winter.
Yeah, how do you become a queen, Andy?
So, queen bee.
You have enough sex with everybody.
We're not a government like that.
Beehive needs a queen bee. Okay. They will take a.
That's weird, you know. The male dies, he explodes.
Honey Nut Cheerio, that's what they call it.
Oh my God.
The queen, the female bee, gets the house,
Yeah.
gets all the goods,
Yep.
and can go to anybody else whenever they want.
If you are
Something
not
wrong
a
with this.
if you are not a beekeeper, you have never seen a male bee. We showed you one.
Oh, yeah.
Shelby, there are because male bees, they come out at daylight, they go up in the air, they die. All the ones on flowers are females. So if you've never been a beekeeper, you have never seen a male bee. And she can tell you, she saw one yesterday. They're way
Male
bigger.
bees' bodies are huge.
You know, they're going to get smart one day, and they're going to be like, you know what, I ain't dying for you.
They haven't got smart in thousands of
And
years.
there goes the
though.
honey.
So how they make?
Other gay bees.
What?
Is there gay bees? Do they live forever?
What if they all go celibate?
That's what I would do. I would just go up there and just
Oh,
find.
really?
Be a gay
I would
bee.
just
You
find
be a
some
gay
wine.
From
bee?
others?
Hey, I would take off and find bee hub.
Yeah, look what happened to little Timmy. Look what happened to Timmy. He didn't come back. Something's wrong up there.
So how they make queen bees? So you'll have a bee frame. You have to have an egg, an egg that has a larva in it that they haven't capped yet. So what happens is, let's just say your queen dies. They don't have a queen. They'll come up in here and they will take royal jelly. Literally, that's what it is. They put it in a uncapped larva that had just hatched. That one egg will come out and it looks almost like a boiled peanut. They'll do like 20 of them or 5 to 20 of them. They'll just scatter this frame with them and they'll do them all up in the middle. The queen is in that. So they'll make 15 or 5, 10, 15 of them, however many. Put the royal jelly in them. It ends up sticking out like a peanut. That's what it looks like. The first queen that hatches comes out. She starts making a piping noise. It's a beep, 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 beep. The queens that are still in the other eggs respond. She goes, stings to their eggs, and kills them. Woo. First queen out kills the rest of the queens, and that's going to be the queen for your house.
What a bitch.
So they will. That is if emergency queen cell where they lay them up in here. Let's just say your beehive. We'll go ahead and get into this. All right. Here's your brood box. Okay. How this works is, queens, they will put their eggs in here, in the middle, to keep it warm. So you'll have honey and whatever out here, honey, something called bee bread. I don't want to explain what that is. Honey, bee bread, just random stuff in here. Brood in here, same on this end. If you have, once these get too crowded, they got to do something. So if you've got all these full, there's bees spilling out, something's got to give, there's not enough room for them. They will take a middle frame where the brood was. They will lay the eggs, so if they're doing an emergency queen, when one died, they do their eggs up here. If they're going to get ready to swarm, they will put their eggs down here. Those are called swarm cells. It's the same concept. You'll have a bunch of different eggs down here. As soon as one hatches out, it kills the rest of them. The original queen, though, however, is still here because she didn't die. She's going to swarm. That egg hatches out. She kills them. Your original queen says, all right, let's go make a new home. She takes half the bees, takes off, lands on a fence post, a pole, a tree. You ever seen where bees just run?
Yep.
That's what it is. She's taking half the bees to find a new home. The new queen is keeping the other half of the bees here. There's several ways.
Old queen leaves.
The old queen leaves.
That's
And
for child
a
support.
lot of people, so show you what you can do. You can prevent that in several ways. Or you can try to prevent it. So one of the ways people try to prevent that in the spring, if they notice, hey, we're getting kind of heavy here. One of the techniques they use, this is called a double screen board. So let's just say you're getting kind of heavy, you know you're getting heavy. They'll take this lip right here, when you put the box on, they can go in and out. They'll take half the resources from here. Basically just cut this in half. Put half of it in one box, leave half of it here. The gaps where because you got 10 frames now, you got 5 and 5, they put empty frames in the gaps on each side. This allows for them to have more room to lay eggs. It gives them the room to prevent the swarm. So what you'll do is, you'll do that, you'll take this with this entrance. If this beehive entrance is going this way, you will turn it, and you want this top to go this way. The reason is because you've got nurse bees now that you've split, they're eventually going to become foragers in the field. You don't want both sections going the same way because they can cross each other.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So you got bees coming in here and bees coming in here. You don't have to find the queen for this. This is called a double screen split. So here's what happens. Whether the queen's in the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. One section is going to realize we don't have a queen. They're going to make the emergency queen cell. So you'll put this in here, and you come back in like a week. And when you come back in a week, whichever one the queen's not in will have that emergency queen cell. So let's just say it's the bottom. You can take that bottom, set it over here. Now you got 2 hives. That queen is thinking, I've got plenty of room. She won't swarm. New queen comes out, goes up in the sky, mates with everybody, comes back, 2 hives. That's one way to do it. That's the easiest way to do it. So if you're going to move a beehive, from one place to another, the general rule is 2 feet or 2 miles. If I was to take this box full of bees and I was to put it at those tires over there, what would end up happening is all the bees coming back, they would all come right back to the spot and pile up on the ground, even though their hive's right there, because they orientate to where they're at. If you move it 2 feet at a time, they can find it, because if they're 2 feet off, they'll find their way in. But if you're 100 yards off, they're just going to sit here and just die in a big cluster. But if you move them 2 miles away, something about the way the earth does whatever it does, they reorientate to where they're at 2 miles away and they'll stay. Let's just say your bees have swarmed, or let's just say another beehive has swarmed. A wild beehive has swarmed, it's in the trees, whatever reason. This is called a swarm trap. This is designed to catch swarms of bees that have left other colonies that are looking for a home. That's what it's designed to do. This goes here. There's tons of different varieties. This goes here. You hang it on a tree. I hang mine eye level because it's easier to work with. You'll take frames.
So it's a bougie birdhouse.
Yeah. You'll take the deeper frames. I'm just pulling these. You'll take the deeper frames, put wax on them, drop them in here. You'll take this. Smells like lemongrass oil. That's called Swarm Commander. Bees are attracted to lemongrass oil. That has lemongrass oil and it has pheromones from queen bees in it to attract them to the spot. So,
A bunch of yellow jackets.
when bees come out, they swarm. Let's say they land right here. They're going to sit here. They're going to send out what is called scout bees, 15 or 20 of them. All they do is they go out and they look for places for the new home. They all go out individually at first. They look for places. You want them to try to come to your box. That lemongrass oil attracts them to the entrance. When they get to the entrance, the Q-tips attracts them in with the beeswax. It's trying to entice them to come in there. So Scout bee comes in here. He's like, oh, this is a pretty good house. He goes back to his cluster on this. All the other 20 bees come back. They have a little powwow. They narrow it down to 4 or 5 spots. Well, now you'll have 4 or 5 bees going to 4 or 5 spots looking around. They come back, they have another little powwow. Finally, they decide Johnny, or it's a woman bee in this case, because male bees only mate. We're gonna go check out the spot that he had. You'll come over here, 15 or 20 bees, all the scouts will run around it. They decide, yeah, we want to make this our home. Come back, all the bees will then come in this box, and you've caught them. That's basically what you do. To transport them, come at night, turn that, it locks them in, take them off to your, wherever you want to take them.
So
right? A lot of people will there's 2 things you can do with your swarms. A lot of people put them in this is called a nuke box. And it's got, you can put 5 frames in it, because a swarm is going to be weak, because obviously it's half of a beehive. They'll start it in this because they got 5 frames. They can control the space better, because too much space in a beehive, pests can kill them. Not enough space, they can swarm. So you don't want them to have a ton of space in the beginning when you catch a swarm. So this gives them 5 racks. Basically, that's what you do. Some people use this. When the racks get filled with bees over time, they'll move them to this. I don't know if it really makes a difference.
Why couldn't you just use the nook as the bee trap?
You could, some people do. So, to light your smoker, what I do, if I can get it open. I'll take some of this.
Somebody robbed off
So you can use pine straw, you can use whatever. I try not to use any kind of chemicals, obviously, because you're smoking the hive, you don't want chemicals in your hive. I will use dryer lint just because it's easier to light. But you want to try to use pine straw or shaving, something semi-natural. So I'll pack some in there. Take a little bit of dryer lint, light it. Sometimes it takes a couple times to get it going.
For some reason, I don't know. People get upset with that.
bee weed.
That's how you like your smoke. You want a cool smoke, so if you want it to be a cool smoke. You don't want a hot smoke. That's how you light this. So this will burn for a while. When you light this, make sure when you're done putting bees, you empty it. I know people that have lit this, worked for 2 hours, packed their stuff up, set it in their truck, burnt their tailgate up. Or set it on a table, burnt through their table, because this is hot. Like, you have to put it out. Don't just leave it. What you'll do, so there's 2 different theories behind why smoke calms bees down. Some people think when you spray it, you'll spray it at the entrance and you'll spray it across the top. Some people say it messes with their pheromones. It messes them all up. They don't know what they're doing. Keeps them off of you. Some people say they think there's a forest fire, so they're too busy worried about their honey and they're not worried about you in a hive. I will tell you, it definitely does something. It calms them down. Basic equipment, gloves.
It's 232.
This is a suit. Obviously, basic, zips up, you wear it. This, I would definitely wear. Some people wear them all year, every time. Some people just wear them in the summer, and some people just wear them if they're messing with hives they don't know how they are. Each hive has its own personality. Some hives you can get in them, you can do like this, nothing. You can work them, you're fine. Other hives, you walk within 20 feet of them, they'll sting the piss out of you. Most people use just this in the spring. Comes up, that's it. Just because they don't want a bee to get them in the face. The reason they use this in the spring is weather's nice, bees have plenty of food to come out and get. Everything's going good. They're not as aggressive. In the summer, there's less food out there. It's hot, it's muggy. They've been fighting off robber bees all day. Last thing they want is for some Blount County redneck to come get them after they've been dealing with all this other shit.
So they're cranky.
So that's when you use that. But when you're wanting to get all the bees out of your honey super to process your honey, some people will use this. The way this is designed, somehow, you take it, and if you've got bees, there's 2 ways you can get bees out of your honey box to process it. 3 ways, actually. There's a chemical that you can put, it's called Bee Gone. You can spray it on a rag. You can set it here, close it up after 30 minutes, open it up. The bees hate it. All the bees run to the bottom. You just pick your box up, go process your honey. Or you can take the thing, take a blower, blow them all out of it. Or you can use this, which is called a checkerboard. You'll put this here. You'll block these where there's just bees are in here. They can only come out through here. Somehow they come out of this, but they can't get back in. So the bees will come out, but bees can't figure out how to get back in. So after like an hour, there's no bees in your box.
So how do they get out of that?
They come up through here,
Right.
come out there. Some
there's
reason
one
they
groove I see.
they can come out, but they don't know how to get back in. So robber bees can't come in
So
there.
it's a one-way deal.
It's a one-way deal.
Dumb bees. They get caught in the jet stream.
So every morning, if you go out there, you've got to catch it really early. Every morning, bees die. There's, like in her hive, there's probably 150,000 bees in her hive. There's probably 1,000 bees a day dying. Every morning, first thing the bees do, they take all the dead bees and they bring them out and sit them on this board.
Bring out your day.
And that's how they dispose of them. Or any larvae in any eggs, they know something's wrong with them. They'll drag them out. They'll bring them out here and throw them out every morning. That's how they keep their hive clean.
That's crazy.
Over. This is what some people use to feed bees in the winter. So what I do in the winter is I just stick the little glass bowl jar on the outside and I just keep it filled. They say you're not supposed to do that. 5 different beekeepers, 6 different answers. That's what I use. They'll make what's called a sugar cake, and you can look it up, and it's like you use sugar and water and something else, and you make like a cake. And they will just cover this in it, and they'll set it here. And over the course of the winter, the bees can go up there and eat the sugar cake. And then you don't have to open them all winter. You don't want to open a beehive in the winter. I just refill the glass bottles when they get empty. But that's one way to put it. If you see bees, let's just say you're walking outside and you've got a swarm of bees on this post. Those bees, they're not going to leave until the scouts tell them, but they also will not sting you because they've left their house looking for a new house. Bees only sting to protect their home. Those are looking for a new home.
So territorial.
So they have nothing, no reason to sting.
Nothing.
So, but they're also not going to fly off. They're going to stay in a clump. So like what she was saying is people can take them. Like if they were on this, literally, I would just unscrew this, pick it up gently, bring it over here, shake it in the box. And they'll all fall in the box. But they're not going to fly because they want to stay together. That's how you catch them. You can rake them with your hand. Like you don't even have to wear gear. There's a lot more to it than what I explained. Like you can get super deep into it. You can get into where you're processing bee venom to sell it, processing wax to sell it. You can make your own queen bees for you or to sell them. You can take the wax and do candles and all kinds of stuff with the wax, fire starters.
And
a lot of people, propolis is bee glue. That's good for you can take the bee glue. I was told at the Georgia Bushcraft, you saw it, didn't you? The guy said, if you have a cut to a gunshot wound, you put that propolis over the wound. When it comes back together, it does not scar. Interesting. Because he said that the way skin grows, that it grows from the back, and he said the only reason you have scarring, the scars are not in nature. Humans create scars because let's say you slash your arm open. Go to the doctor. What do? They scrub the crap out of it. and it kills all the stuff. So when the skin grows back, now you've done killed the nerves, so it comes up, stay together, and that's what creates a star. The propolis on it. He had a stroke. That guy. He fell. He hit his head on a rock. He woke up after 45 minutes on the ground. His brain was hanging out of his skull.
Ooh.
But that's what kept him alive, because when he hit the rock, it released the pressure. He said he put that, after he went to the, whatever they did, he put that propolis over his head. You can't even tell it had a scar there. We looked at it.